I'm Lorraine Sommerfeld, and this is the Lemonade Car Show. Tonight we're talking about insurance, and as always, we'll be answering all of your car questions. Lemonade is brought to you by OMVIC, that's Ontario's vehicle sales regulator, and we're produced by the Automobile Protection Association. The APA fights for you, the consumer, and provides information and news on all parts of the industry. Visit our website at apa.ca or reach us by phone at 416-204-1444. Joining me today is Georgini, he's the president of the APA, and Debbie Arnold, she's the business development manager at Sound Insurance. We'll be taking your calls all evening at 800-968-7836. It's insurance, great time to call in and talk to Debbie. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi George, nice to have you here too.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Insurance is always a hot topic, so I'm glad that you're here. We have some changes coming. Let's start with what's going to be new, because I think that's...
Yes, that's a big topic, and a lot of policyholders are receiving notification in the mail from their insurance companies advising that as of June 1st, there will be some changes to coverage. A lot of the things that they brought out in 2010 are staying the same. The big change is medical, rehab, and attendant care coverage. Prior to June 1st, this is for new business and renewals. So if your renewal is May 31st, you have the same coverage until next year. Okay. If you renew on or after June 1st, you had $50,000 med and rehab, $36,000 attendant care. As of June 1st, you'll have a combined limit of $65,000 for all three of those coverages. So it's a reduction in coverage of 25%. That's for serious injuries or non-catastrophic injuries. For catastrophic injuries, you had $1 million med rehab, you had $1 million attendant care. Now you have a combined limit of $1 million. So your reduction is $1 million there.
Okay, so first, why? And what's the impact?
It's part of the anti-fraud legislation that was put in place. It started in 2010. It was put forth in 2015 again. So now the government has regulated that we're going to make these reductions in an effort to stabilize rate and reduce abuse and fraud in the system.
But if I'm not abusing the system and I'm hurt, that's got a huge impact.
It does have a huge impact, and that's why you need to pick up the phone, talk to your agent or broker, take a look if you have group benefits. You need to see what's covered under there. If it's going to exclude or include auto accidents, you need to be prepared for these changes and make adjustments if you need to. So for example, you can increase that $65,000 to $130,000. There's a new choice, and it's a new coverage, that you can do a combined limit of all of that for $1 million. What the premium is going to be when you choose that option, I don't know yet. We don't have the premiums yet because we're only in April. I'm hoping to see what these premiums are going to look like. If they look like anything like the 2010 changes, I'm guessing about $100 to $150 per coverage or per option is what you're looking at.
A reduction? Oh, you mean for the additional?
For the additional premium when you choose to increase that coverage.
Is it possible that people will see their basic coverage go down because of these?
You mean their
clawbacks?
Premium?
Yeah.
The overall premiums, I'm seeing notices from insurance coming down between 2 to 8%.
And you think it's because of this change?
It's definitely because of the change. Because forecasting what claims will look like a year or 2 years from now, once these claims starting June 1st run through the system, the insurance companies are going to be seeing some savings and a reduction in claims cost. So the premiums are going to have to come down. And that's a good thing. The companies have they just came out with the first quarter results, and for the first time in a long time, we're seeing the insurance companies being slightly profitable. You know, they're seeing a 2% profit instead of paying out $1.07 to $1.17 per dollar they bring in. They're getting 2 cents on the dollar. Overall, some companies are still losing money, but overall, the industry is seeing some growth, which is a good thing. That happens, that means that the changes are taking effect. They're positive changes for the industry and for the consumer, because that means that rates are going to stabilize.
Okay.
We still have the broadest coverage in Canada, in Ontario.
We also have the highest rates in Canada.
Exactly, but they're coming down, but we also have the best coverage. So, you know, there's going to be a trade-off. And something has to be, that's one step to combat fraud. The problem in Ontario is multifaceted. There's so many layers to the issue of auto insurance in Ontario. It's not just what coverage is there. It's not just the claims that are being paid out. It's the frivolous lawsuits that lawyers are putting forth that should not be even brought before the courts, they're getting paid out by the insurance companies because it's more cost effective. So instead of stopping a lawsuit that shouldn't have been launched to begin with, because technically you can't sue unless you're catastrophically injured in Ontario. But yet,
So it's like paying a ransom to pirates.
that's basically
make it
what's
go away.
happening. So the insurance companies have to step up and stop that. Spend the money, take some of these lawsuits to court to set precedent to stop them, because they're ridiculous.
Well, they're letting their own kids set their bedtime, and
Yeah.
it's just gonna be a nightmare.
So that's not the only problem. There's Viva Canada just did a hidden camera thing in a rehab center about a month ago. And one of the people was playing a victim of an auto accident, met by reception. Oh, just fill this out. Just fill out whatever you want. Make something up, she said. And this is caught on camera, on a hidden camera, of how victims are treated in rehab centers. Hopefully this rehab center has been closed down, because that's fraud. So that was just illustrating one of the big issues in Ontario Auto. Then there's the staged collisions. Then there's the accidents where you're hurt, or you're claiming, of course not my clients, but the other party is claiming injury, and there's only one person in the car at the time of the loss, but when the claim comes in, there were 5.
Well, we're
people,
seeing more and more dash cams, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I wrote about it a few years ago, and someone goes, "Oh, why would anyone do that?" Because in Russia, the meteor hit.
It's a big thing, yeah.
And within an hour, there's all this footage, and everyone's like, "It's got to be fake. How can so many people, have cameras ready to go at that moment?" I go, "They're running all the time because of fraud in all these countries," and it started with the cops being fraudulent, so people needed to record it. So we're seeing cameras more and more. Do you think we're going to start seeing cameras in the cars themselves, like stock?
A different way, because the cameras are going to be working for the car, not necessarily
That's
for you.
true.
They'll be operating the braking system.
That's true.
Subaru already has it. I'd like to believe that a few years hence, that when those technologies, you finally have enough data, that insurance will see that it's actually cheaper to insure somebody in that kind of vehicle. The early numbers are quite amazing. They're if you have intelligent braking, so the car just doesn't only flash you, but actually
Right.
applies the brakes if you're texting or not paying attention, 40% lower front to rear collision.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know, like you've been promised the Holy Grail before. Airbags didn't
Exactly.
actually reduce injuries that much.
Right.
Initially, it took time,
Yeah, it took time.
and the cost of car repairs went up
Right.
to some degree. But the hope is that it will be comparable, maybe not to the seatbelt, but close to it as an injury reduction strategy. The car will become smart enough to avoid a collision.
And as long as that technology doesn't fail, the only thing I worry about that technology is that drivers would begin to rely on it. And if you're not relying on your own skills,
Well, skills are falling as
Exactly.
technology is ramping up safety.
For now, it would be limited. So, other than Tesla, nobody's actually said the car is going to drive itself, even if they have similar technology to a Tesla. What they're saying, it's only when you're like
Clean it.
asleep at the wheel
Right.
that it'll take over, just for prior to a collision. They're
Right.
not going to offer you the option of reading the paper.
Right,
So
right.
but they probably could get close to that on a highway today, but it wouldn't be safe in all situations.
They have the driverless cars.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Oh, in
So
the southern
I'm
states,
hoping
so.
that when we're on the set, you and I, in 2020, you'll be able to tell people that that's maybe a promising thing already by then.
Well, but I've noticed just, in quoting, when I'm quoting a 2007 vehicle versus a 2014, 15, 16, they're usually, if it's the exact same information, the 2007 vehicle per capita is more expensive than the newer vehicle. And I attribute it to the safety features, or the improved safety features on the newer vehicles. Because, you're going to spend $30,000, $40,000 on this vehicle in your 2007, if it's, let's say, Toyota Corolla, right? Quoted 2007 to 2015. The 2015 is actually, it's the same price or cheaper.
Even though the car is worth more than twice as much.
Exactly, because the likelihood of loss is that much better. So I am seeing that on the newer vehicles. I was actually asked once, well, what's the percentage discount? It's not a discount.
Yeah.
It's just what the statistics are showing
For repair
on
and
the newer
replacement.
vehicles
Yeah.
with the safety features, that there's less claims, and the claims are less severe.
And we're catching up with the lag between the tech is catching up to the rates. It's usually a couple
Yeah.
years behind.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that some more. The Lemonade Car Show, brought to you by OMVIC, Ontario's motor vehicle sales regulator, returns after this short break. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls, 800-968-7836.